Tonight, a horrific family tragedy at a Jewish community center.
A young mother fatally shot in front of her daughter, and police say it was her own husband who pulled the trigger. Local 10 crime specialist.
Listen, man. I'm going to need some people to stop messing up everywhere, man. We just saw what happened at the Oscars, man. And now hearing that this is a Juice Crew community center, your first thoughts will be that these were members of the Juice Crew that did this. No. These are Sun people. Listen, man. Let me explain something to you, man. The world is starting to see. People are starting to see every time something violent happens, it's Sun people. I guarantee you they ain't had a shooting at that Juice Crew Community Center ever. Will Smith really woke America up, I promise you. Because everyone's like, you can't help but to be like, okay, that was the Oscars. Then the next time it's like, Because people have been denying it. There's been this level of cognitive dissonance, delusion for years. But that Will Smith incident with Chris Rock has jolted people. Is like they can't deny that. That was two Sunmen. And we condemn that. So now, next week, you're at the Juice Crew Community Center and you're hanging out with your family and you hear gunshot. You're like, what? Those gunshots sound close. Then you get outside, the police come and... Oh my God.
Tonight, a horrific family tragedy at a Jewish community center.
A young mother fatally shot in front of her daughter, and police say it was her own husband who pulled the trigger. Local 10 crime specialist Bridget Matter is live in Northeast Miami-Dade with more on the suspect's troubling past.
This was so brazen. Police say the suspect came to this community center as his wife and her daughter were attending swim lessons, and he shot her. After that, he ditched his gun in nearby bushes. This happened in the middle of the day. There were a lot of witnesses to this shooting.
Now, what do you think these people think? They're thinking back to Will Smith, getting up out of his seat, walking a country mile down that stage and slapping Chris Rock in the face. And then walking another country mile back to his seat and sitting there like nothing. That the brazenness of that act is what appalled people. It wasn't the fact that they don't, those types, those Hollywood pasty liberals, they don't care about son-on-son violence. But they do care about violence in their presence and at their things. This man walked right up in that Juice Crew Center, community center, and in front of everybody. And the people had to hearken back. Witnesses had to hearken back to, they're so bold and brazen. My God. It's almost as if they're above the law, though. They think that there are no consequences to their actions. Yeah, thanks to y'all and sisters.
This was so brazen. Police say the suspect came to this community center as his wife and her daughter were attending swim lessons, and he shot her. After that, he ditched his gun in nearby bushes. This happened in the middle of the day. There were a lot of witnesses to this shooting. For hours, police investigated a deadly shooting at this Jewish community center in North Miami. Family identified the victim as 30-year-old Chandel Harris.
She didn't deserve to die like this. She didn't deserve nothing.
Wow.
She was a great woman.
Police say Harris and her daughter were at the pool for swim lessons when Harris's husband ran up and shot her on the pool deck. The victim's daughter and mother witnessed the shooting, according to family.
The witness's daughter and mother witnessed the shooting. Listen, man, I get into it with my wife sometime and I be very upset, man. Very upset, man. I'm not one of them son men that like to brag about their temper because, you know, some men love to brag about this, man. I'm sure I'm a son man. But yeah, so he did that in front of the daughter and the mother. I think with what we've been seeing since 2020, since the summer of Floyd and the Blackistanian Spring, what we've been seeing out of Sun Men since then, since Sisters and Pasty liberals thought that it would be a good idea to send the message to Sun Men that, you know, that he can do no wrong and that, you know, we'll lax all the laws and lax all the penalties for crimes, and no matter what you do, you get out the next day while you're waiting your trial. Since then, the brazenness and boldness and cavalierness and just wanton entitlement to murder that Sun Men have, we should be happy that he didn't kill that little girl. We should be thanking God that he didn't kill that little girl, even though he killed a piece of her by shooting her mother dead in front of her in such a public place, which just now she can never feel safe anywhere. This little girl can never feel safe anywhere. Her, now she's probably lived in the stand. She lives in the stand, definitely. So it's probably already been shattered. But they go into the Juice Crew Community Center to get away from the stand. You know? They ain't going to MLK Community Center or Mega Ever Community Center. They try and get away from all that. And he was going to show her, I'm in control. No one can stop me. Classic narcissist, just like our friend Will Smith. You ain't safe anywhere. All these people around, I don't care. All these rich people, because, you know. All these wealthy people around, you think you out of the hood? I don't care. Your mom there, my daughter, I don't care. I control this situation. I'm in control of your life and your destiny. Classic narcissist, man. Selfish too, man.
The victim's daughter and mother witnessed the shooting, according to family.
Here he followed her and chased her down and shot her, like an animal, like he was doing hunting.
We watched distraught loved ones embrace one another. A cousin says Harris was stabbed by the suspect Saturday, but she did not report it to police.
She was stabbed by her husband on Saturday, but did not report it to police. If I call the police, they gonna kill. That's what sisters be saying, crazy stuff like that. Even though a son man getting killed by a cop is like getting struck by lightning. It's so rare. It ain't even, you can't even say winning the lottery. It's like winning the Powerball. You can't even say like winning the lottery because you got a greater chance of winning the lottery. It's like winning the Powerball. With all the shootings and the chaos that goes on in the stand, and all of the stands, and every stand in every city, in every town, in every state, it's like winning the Powerball to get shot by a cop, especially unarmed. And sisters like her have told themselves that some men are such victims and protested and marched and got in the streets and indoctrinated themselves with this calling the police endangers son men's lives, even though the jail is full of son men, even though they go and visit their son man in prison, in jail, and it's thousands of them there in their little city jail or their little county jail or their little town jail. They still believe that every time the police come, a son man gonna die. You know, because of the color of his skin. And that's why they don't, that's why she probably didn't call the police. Either that or she was scared to death of this guy, and he said he's going to kill her if she did.
A cousin says Harris was stabbed by the suspect Saturday, but she did not report it to police. A spokesperson for Miami-Dade police cannot confirm that incident, but says there were issues before.
Our investigators found out today that yes, there was some type of domestic issues amongst them recently.
The center released a new statement. It says in part, Miami-Dade police have confirmed it is being investigated as a domestic issue. The suspected gunman has been arrested, and police have indicated there's no known threat to the Jewish community. We spoke to several people who heard the shots.
It was very scary. I heard a big boom, and then I saw the shooter running after someone and shooting. He had a small handgun, and then we ran.
You think these people signed up for this, man? Their little community center, you think they signed up for this? See, this is the problem with sisters, man. And if anyone else had been shot, I would be blaming that sister because she got stabbed by this guy on Saturday. And then she most likely had another incident, argument, or some kind of communication with this guy that went south. There were definitely probably threats involved. And then she carried her narrow behind over here to where these Juice Cruise people are enjoying their safe community, their safe community center, where nothing ever happens like this. And guess who comes with the sister? Some violent, deranged son man. If that guy had shot a bunch of these Juice Crew people, I would be making a different video. Now, since she's the only one that got killed, the sister's the only one who got killed, I'm making this video. But had he just, and I'm not even saying tried to. Some men always shoot somebody else when they're shooting at somebody. Say you just straight bullets and hit other people. I'd be making a totally different video because this is something that I hate, man. Sisters always bring around the worst kind of guys. When you see a sister move in your neighborhood, you, oh, God. Especially a single sister. If she married, it's 50-50. But if she's single, oh, my God. Because you know she going to drag in some... If she got a house and no man and a car, oh, my God. Some pookie going to say, oh, snap. And she going to drag him in and bring him into the neighborhood. And now you got this violent psychopath in your neighborhood. Just like what these people experienced.
It was very scary. I heard a big boom, and then I saw the shooter running after someone and shooting. He had a small handgun, and then we ran.
The center does have security at its entrance. We asked police how the suspect got in armed.
How did he get inside? Again, there are classes, swimming classes, that's open to the public. People can pay so they can attend the classes.
So these people got security. They already had security. Not even for something like this. Probably for something like this, but not even thinking. Just security because, you know, they care about their safety. And now you got a profile. The son man probably walked on by, the glider, the security guard was probably sent something because his energy was probably off. He probably was like, but, can't profile. Because if he had stopped the son, man, it'd be 1,000 sisters down here with picket signs. The local AC Moore and Michaels and Hobby Lobby would be out of cardboard and markers and paint because there would be so many sisters making signs in this community down there protesting. This guy would be doxxed. So he probably seen some son man huffing and puffing with that wily look in his eye, bulge in his pants from the handgun, probably storming in there and probably was like, hands are tied, can't do nothing. And I'm sure when this guard heard them shots, he probably shuddered like, God, I knew something was going to, you know what I mean? What can you do? That sister passing away is a terrible thing. But this guy losing his livelihood, losing his life, losing his job, losing his business partners, anybody he does business with being doxxed. The apartment building he lives in, people the sisters calling the apartment building he lives in, or the person who leases the house to him and putting pressure on them, calling this guy racist, picture all over the internet in perpetuity, time in infinite for being a racist because he stopped the son man, and the son man wasn't going to shoot nobody. He stopped the son man. Him and the son man have an argument. He calls the police. The son man like, man, I wouldn't even do nothing, man. And I was just going to see my daughter's swim classes, man. Then it's 1,000 videos. Son man stopped by suspected supremacist security guard while trying to go see his daughter take swimming lessons. And then you got 1,000 videos all over YouTube about
This scene did clear in the last few hours. Police do emphasize this was an isolated incident and there was no threat to the Jewish community. Right now, we don't have any details on the suspect's name. We just know that he is a man who is 45 years old. Just so tragic tonight. For now, we're live in North Miami. Bridget Matter, Local 10.
Tragic story all the way around there. We just got to... And we're also getting our first look at the suspect after a family tragedy over the weekend. Police telling us this man is the man who shot and killed his wife at a pool in front of her child.
Yeah, it happened at a Miami-Dade Jewish Community Center.
And that's where we find the Local 10 News reporter Sinella Sabovic with all these details. Sinella.
Christy and Janice, we just got our hands on an arrest report, and the details are pretty disturbing. The suspect admitted to police that he stabbed his wife on Saturday before coming here to this Jewish community center yesterday, and they say that is where he fatally shot his own wife. 45-year-old Carl Watts Jr. They say he's responsible for murdering his wife right in front of her own child at a Jewish center in North Miami. According to an arrest report, the terror began on Saturday. Watts allegedly stabbed Shandell Harris multiple times. She called the Miami Police Department. On Sunday, while Harris was at her daughter's swim lessons at the center with her mother, police say Watts arrived separately and offered her money to drop the charges against him for the stabbing incident.
Oh, man. I thought she didn't call the police. So she did call the police. So I guess new information. So this is what happens when investigations. Most Sun YouTubers, be honest, most Sun YouTubers be like, oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, my God, the conspiracy. What happened is during the investigation, they got more information and they cleared up some things. So there's no conspiracy. Just the investigation had new findings in the investigation. So apparently, she did call the cops. Okay, good for her. So salute to her for calling the cops. But taking her behind down at that Juice Crew Community Center, knowing this guy's a psychopath, and then he comes down there and he's offering her money to drop charges, she should have left right then and there, because you putting those people don't have no clue. about how Sun people, if this was a Sun community, yeah, this is how we operate. Look at the murder rate, look at the gun memorial. This is how we operate. These other groups don't operate like that. So when you bring these type of ticking time bombs around the area, it's very selfish, in my opinion.
On Sunday, while Harris was at her daughter's swim lessons at the center with her mother, police say Watts arrived separately and offered her money to drop the charges against him for the stabbing incident. When Harris refused, investigators say he shot her multiple times, and when she collapsed, stood over her and continued to shoot until he ran out of live cartridges.
So she told this Sun man that, no, I won't take the money to drop the charges. So I want you to... A lot of you people don't understand Sun man logic. A lot of you people are puzzled. Take this money to drop these charges because I obviously don't want these legal problems for stabbing you. Here, take this money so that I don't have a charge for stabbing you. No? Okay, so now I'm going to shoot you and empty the clip in you in front of dozens of onlookers. And that makes sense in the Sun man mind. And that's why a lot of you people don't understand how much danger you're in every day. And how much more danger you're in since the summer of Floyd and the Blackistanian Spring and all the woke-apocalypse and all the laws you've changed and how lenient you've made it. That makes sense. Take this money so I don't get this assault with a deadly weapons charge. No? Okay. I'm going to now take a murder charge. Also, traumatize my daughter, leave her without a mother, and possibly be eligible for the death penalty. And that makes sense. I'm a Sun man. It makes sense. In that moment, it makes sense in their mind.
When Harris refused, investigators say he shot her multiple times, and when she collapsed, stood over her and continued to shoot until he ran out of live cartridges. Watts ran off after the shooting, but was detained at gunpoint by private security.
So the security stopped him, and he didn't kill the security guards. The security guards didn't kill him. He didn't shoot at them. He was detained by security. He was detained by security. Security came up, said, drop the gun or freeze. And they were able to detain him.
So operations are back to normal here at the Michael Ann Russell Jewish Community Center. Meantime, we've learned that Watts has an extensive criminal history dating back to 1995, arrested numerous times and convicted for multiple weapons violations. That's the latest here from Northeast Miami-Dade. Sanella Sabovic, Local 10 News.
Domestic shooting in Northeast Miami-Dade. A husband killing his wife in front of her child at a Jewish community center.
And we're now learning that is not the first time the suspects had a run-in with the law. Local 10's Roy Ramos is live to explain his dangerous past. Roy.
Yeah, he does have a very violent criminal history. It dates back to 1994 with charges that include armed robbery to kidnapping, and the list goes on and on. He is now back behind bars, and you can now add a murder charge to his rap sheet.
Now, all you guys in the chat, hit 1 if you now understand why sisters, 95% of sisters, supported the Will Smith slap. While other groups, even Sun men, it was 50-50 with Sun men. There was like 10-90 with gliders and, 199 with crouching tigers and about, 30-70 with hombritos. But sisters, it was 95% of them supported Will Smith walking up on that stage and slapping that guy. They supported the violence. Now do you see why?
Yeah, he does have a very violent criminal history. It dates back to 1994 with charges that include armed robbery to kidnapping, and the list goes on and on. He is now back behind bars, and you can now add a murder charge to his rap sheet.
Good afternoon, Mr. Watts.
45-year-old Carl Watts Jr. faced a Miami-Dade County judge after police said he shot and killed his wife, 30-year-old Chandel Harris, Sunday.
Sir, you were arrested for 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of possession of a firearm, weapon, or ammunition.
Running up on a woman, gunning her down in a public place in front of her daughter, standing over her and emptying the clip in her face is second-degree murder. Not first degree, not capital murder, second-degree murder. We're a protected class, man. When this runs out, man, get. You always want to tell brother that if you really want to kill him, do it now. If you're somebody you want to whack somebody, do it now, man. Before America wakes up.
Sir, you were arrested for 1 count of second-degree murder and 1 count of possession of a firearm, weapon, or ammunition by a convicted felon.
Investigators said it all happened at the Jewish Community Center near Northeast 189th Street and 25th Avenue while Harris was at her daughter's swim lessons.
And he shot the victim multiple times.
In the arrest report we obtained, it states Watts offered to pay Harris money to drop charges against him for stabbing her multiple times the day prior. When she refused to accept, he shot and killed her. While Watts now faces a second-degree murder charge, which may change.
To me, it looks like there's probable cause for first-degree murder.
We've learned he has a lengthy criminal history. You may remember when we told you how he was a person of interest when his girlfriend, Trukita Scott, disappeared in June of 2014.
Think about that. Think about that, man. Sisters, y'all have to think about that. So this sister, and obviously from the age of their daughter, the one who just got killed today, the other day at the community center, her daughter's older than, her daughter would have been born in 2013 or 2012. So he was juggling these two at the same time. These two were in his life at the same time. She comes up missing. And the other sister's still dealing with him 9, 10 years later. 2 Sun women are dealing with a guy, a psychopath. One of them ends up missing, never to be found. Not they found her in a shallow grave and he's saying he ain't do it. She just gone. And they both, and she know how this guy is. And she's still dealing with him 10 years later.
To me, it looks like there's probable cause for first-degree murder.
We've learned he has a lengthy criminal history. You may remember when we told you how he was a person of interest when his girlfriend, Trukita Scott, disappeared in June of 2014. While he was never arrested in that case, she has never been found. In July that same year, Fort Lauderdale police arrested him for attempting to kidnap an 18-year-old girl at a bus stop. Fortunately, she got away.
I mean, she had to know about this. She had to know in 2018 was arrested for trying to kidnap an 18-year-old. She got to know about it. I don't want to hear, you knew about that.
In July that same year, Fort Lauderdale police arrested him for attempting to kidnap an 18-year-old girl at a bus stop. Fortunately, she got away. I found Watts' violent past dates back to 1994 with charges that include grand theft, armed robbery, drug trafficking, and kidnapping. He was in and out of prison from 2004 to 2007, but it is this brutal murder of his own wife that could now have him spending the rest of his days behind bars.
I'm holding him with no bond.
So you may be asking yourself, why wasn't Watts arrested at the time he allegedly stabbed his wife the day prior to that shooting? Well, we reached out to City of Miami police. They tell us that he had already left the scene by the time police officers arrived. As for that second-degree murder charge, right now we are working to find out if it will be changed to a first-degree murder charge. I'll have more on that coming up on Local 10 at 5:30. For now, outside of the Metro Justice Building here in Miami, Roy Ramos, Local 10 News.
All right, Roy, just tragic story all the way around there.